Ladies and gentlemen, just 8 hours ago, Bitcoin closed a bearish engulfing candle, putting an end to a very brutal week on Bitcoin, but in an even more brutal week on the altcoin market. So the big question becomes, will Bitcoin correct further? Are altcoins okay if Bitcoin does correct further? And what is the short-term structure looking like? Is there a chance that Bitcoin can swing to the upside? Well, I've got a very, very important pattern to show you today. First of all, I'll show you where exactly Bitcoin is finding support so we know what to look for if there is a more extensive breakdown. And second of all, I will show you the exact short-term structures that are predicting the next move on Bitcoin within a day or two. This is big stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to want to miss it. Let's check it out. Before we get into it, like usual, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Specifically, leave a comment. It helps me out a lot in the algorithm. Just chuck an emoji down there or say thank you or say whatever you want, really. Helps me out. Also, check out the exchanges. We have two exchanges here today, the Bitcoin exchange and the Blowfin exchange, both of which are global non-KYC, both of which have never been hacked before and have protection funds available in case they are hacked so you can get reimbursed on the lost funds if that happens hypothetically. Guys, I reached out to these guys for partnership. They did not reach out to me. I didn't get paid, nothing, no incentive other than the referral link they have given me. And if you sign up with that referral link, you're helping yourself out by getting a 15% trading fee discount attached to your account for life and also getting on a good exchange. And you're helping me by using it. So check it out, Bitcoin or Blowfin. I personally use Bitcoin. Blowfin's an alternative option. Links are down below. Let's get into the content. Right, so bearish engulfing candle on Bitcoin, not the best look, but it's a bit more nuanced than that, right? We can't just be going off a bearish engulfing candle. Obviously, the macro breakdown has not occurred. There's been no indication that this bull run is ending, and we've seen bearish engulfing candles before. Even during bull markets, yes. For example, bearish engulfing candle right here in February 2021, it did not lead to the end of the bull market. In fact, we went right upwards straight after that. It was just a corrective move. We know what we need to look at in order to see whether the bull market has ended or not. One of those things, quite simply, is the Gaussian channel on the weekly chart, which is a very, very precise indicator. Every time we enter the Gaussian channel, we move through it. And that has been the case, historically speaking, going all the way back to the original price action on Bitcoin in 2011. But even just looking recently, when we enter this, we go through it, okay? We go through it to the downside, we go through it to the upside. If we were to enter it again, we'd probably go through it again, and that would end the bear market. We've got plenty of breathing room here. That's very far away. Another thing we can look at quite quickly, which you're probably already aware of, is just the prior high, the prior macro high, which was here at 74,000, which we found as resistance for 8 months straight. Okay, of course, we're above that level right now. Guys, we're not even in a downwards trend. We haven't even broke lows on this local range. We're still actually in a short-term upwards trend. So a bearish engulfing candle, yes, it's not the best sign. Yes, it might indicate further corrections to come, maybe, if we see the breakdown. But we haven't even seen a breakdown yet. We're still actually in a short-term, or medium-term, I should say, upwards trend. Now, in this video, as I mentioned in the introduction, I'm going to show you a pattern, a couple of patterns, a couple of lines that indicate that the next move on Bitcoin on a medium-term scale, whether Bitcoin continues downwards and starts an actual correction, or whether Bitcoin swings back to the upsides and has a potential to retest all-time highs and potentially break it, that might happen starting today or tomorrow. First and foremost, we need to understand where Bitcoin's support is. What is holding Bitcoin upwards? What is stopping Bitcoin at the moment from just going downwards and forming an actual downwards trend here and forming an actual correction? Well, there's quite a few things. There's two main things though. One of them is the 50 simple moving average on the daily chart, which you can see has directly acted not only 2 days ago during the height of the drop, but also today has directly acted as a support zone holding Bitcoin upwards, preventing it from falling downwards. This is the major moving average we're looking at right now. Pay attention to that very closely. If we get a daily candle below that level, that is very, very bad news. Especially if the daily candle happens in conjunction with the daily candle below the level I'm drawing right now. The yellow line I've just drawn on the screen, maybe you haven't seen it before. If you have seen it, you've probably seen it from me. I don't see many other people talking about this at all, acted as major support, stemming backwards from February 2024, cutting through the major deviation downwards we saw in May, okay, and cutting through price action in June and also here in July, also here in November, which actually established the bottom part of the local range we're in right now. We tested it again in December, and we're testing again right now. This, in conjunction with the 50 simple moving average, is quite simply the two major support zones right now that's preventing Bitcoin from falling downwards into an actual downwards trend. So those are the supports, right? So then the question is, well, if we zoom in a little bit further, if we go into the short-term price action, how will Bitcoin react to these supports? How do we know when these supports are broken? How do we know if Bitcoin flips back to the upside? Well, I can show you that precisely right now. First of all, we have patterns here. We have this ascending resistance line here in yellow in conjunction with an ascending support line, which you can see right there. And what you will see now is an ascending wedge formation, which has broken for downside and seen a resistance support flip. But there's more than that. That is a very elementary level analysis. And the reason it's elementary is because we know that although Bitcoin is in a breakdown from this perspective, we have that support coming through from the charts we saw before, from the 50 SMA and also from that pink line on the screen right there. So we know that Bitcoin's not actually in a breakdown, meaning there's probably more to the story here. And upon closer inspection, we can identify another line of ascending support, meaning that this middle line of ascending support is kind of minor in comparison. So we'll make it dotted. It's still valid. It's still there. It'll still act as resistance. But the broader ascending wedge formation actually looks like this with these two solid yellow lines. But we can go even further than that, and we can zoom into the hourly chart and identify a descending resistance line, which is pinning Bitcoin down towards the lower ascending support line. Zooming back out, we can see that we have an ascending wedge formation, but locally we're being compressed into the support with a very small period of time left until a breakout of that small compression zone will come, meaning that Bitcoin will either move downwards below support and hence downwards below the major daily chart supports from the 50 SMA and the pink ascending line, or Bitcoin will have to sweep back to the upside and retest higher levels. Basically today, that's what's going to happen. Within today, maybe tomorrow, okay, if we push it really far, we're going to be swinging downwards, okay, and potentially breaking down below major levels on Bitcoin from the 50 SMA, from the ascending support line swinging backwards from February, or we're going to swing to the upside and have another attempt here to break resistance on Bitcoin. There is a big move in this local range coming within 24 hours, most likely. Unless there's some sort of deviation, but we can't predict deviations. This is TA, we have to trust it to some extent. Now, what would need to happen for Bitcoin to be confirmed bullish to the upside? Well, of course, we need to break the wedge itself, but being a little bit more specific than that, what Bitcoin would need to do in order to show some degree of actual strength is it would need to break around 102,500, where I've just marked in this pink line. That is the local high that we saw before the breakdown of the initial line of the wedge, and that is a clear resistance zone in this region, which actually acted as support even on the upper pinnacle of this price region. When Bitcoin was testing all-time highs, it is 102,500 that acted as support and was the base of that all-time high test move. When we broke below all-time highs, it is 102,500 that acted as the rejection zone that led Bitcoin to go downward. So the upside level for confirmation of bullishness, in my view, is 102,500, and the downside level for confirmation of bearishness is a breakdown of the wedge, but more specifically for confirmation, okay, we're actually going to be looking for a daily candle close below this pink line right here and the 50 SMA. That's how I view the short term right now. Now, I want to be very clear here. If Bitcoin does go further down, if Bitcoin does confirm an actual breakdown, we do enter an actual correction, it's not necessarily the end of the world, okay? Yes, it would be preferable if Bitcoin went upwards. Ethereum is on support here, but it does have more major support lower down. It technically can move down further. Same with the total cryptocurrency market cap. Okay, yes, vaguely we're on the 2021 support, but we're not quite there, really. We can go downwards another 10% towards it. So there is breathing room. There's not much breathing room, but there is breathing room. It is historically typical for Bitcoin to see corrections up to 30%, maybe even exceeding 30%. We can see right here in 2021 a 32% correction on Bitcoin in a matter of 2 weeks, okay? It can happen. You can see extensive corrections even in macro bull markets while maintaining the macro bullish stance. So it wouldn't be the end of the world for Bitcoin to go downwards. It would just be a major annoyance. It would be a delay. And it would be slightly concerning for altcoins because we do know that altcoins are underperforming compared to where they were in the last cycle at this point in time. And if Bitcoin went downwards further, it would put Ethereum at some serious risk of some structural damage. If Bitcoin went downwards too far, Ethereum could break below something like 2,700, which would actually be very detrimental to Ethereum. And at that point, we'd start to get really, really concerned about the structure of the altcoin market. So if Bitcoin does go down into a correction, an actual correction here, but via the metrics confirmation that I mentioned, we do have breathing room, but it's not a dramatic amount of breathing room. So we would really get fully nailed in, eagle hawked vision looking at the charts at that point. It would be a little bit concerning and stressful. Wouldn't necessarily be the end of the world. Could be fine, but it would be concerning and stressful. So ideally, Bitcoin breaks upwards here and swings back to all-time highs. That would be the ideal scenario. Let's hope for it, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a comment down below. It helps out the channel tremendously, and subscribe for future updates. I appreciate that. Check out the exchanges here, the BitTunix exchange and the Blowfin exchange. As I mentioned before, global non-KYC. You can sign up from anywhere in the world. There's massive rewards available. 5,500 USDT reward for signing up with my referral link on BitTunix in bonuses. 5,000 on Blowfin, 15% trading fee discount on BitTunix with my referral link down below. I use BitTunix personally. That is my favorite exchange. Blowfin is an alternative option. The links are down below. Sign up, helps me out tremendously, helps you out by getting on a good exchange. And the last thing I'll mention is my VIP group on Telegram. If you want access to altcoin trading signals on VIP, you can get them 4 times a week via the VIP group on Telegram. We're doing a Christmas sale starting in a couple of days, so you might want to hold off just a little bit, but it's time to take a look, get interested, put it on your calendar or whatever. And we've got trading results right here, 78% win rate. It's all transparent. Check it out if you're interested, guys. Thank you.